in the Lord of the Rings Online series here on the Game Testament. Now, as you may be able to notice already, skip to level 5. That's because really up till now there's nothing really been worth showing. So I'll just tell you what's happened in the story thus far. Captain Brackenbrook, whom we met in Arcot, he had a very trusted soldier called Caldecott and asked me to do a quest for him. So I went to visit Caldecott, simply because Striders had suspicions that Arcot really isn't safe. And I did the quest for Caldecott, but it turns out Caldecott set me up to be killed by a member of the Blackwall gang. And it turns out now that the Blackwalls are planning to attack Arcot, and Arcot's neighbouring town, Combe, can't help because the Blackwalls have barred it off. And we need to get as much help as we can now. I just spoke to Captain Brackenbrook's son, John Brackenbrook, who I can show you now, here at the hunting lodge in Arcot, and he's agreed to help out. Here he is. So now I'm going to do the rest of I will do the whole prologue, as to put it, 4 episodes, and I'm not going to skip anything more. I just didn't really think there was much point in uploading episodes about what had happened before now. I need to speak to this guy, at least Spider-Man. He's a dwarf, and I need to talk to him about what is referred to as the Old East Path. Now, this is a quest called the Slender Hope. He wants me to defeat 4 spiders on the Old East and to see if the wall is still intact. This is the wall that protects Arcot from the Old East Path, which is full to the rim of spiders. So the Old East Path is just through these ruins. So if I follow this path, I will be able to get through. Remember, Branquin is a man captain, so he's DPS, but he can support by healing. So here's a spider. If I press tab, it will highlight him. If I go over to him and I press 1, for example, I begin combat. Now, as you can see, the loot icon is shining up, and if I click on there, the items that, on other games, if I had to right click and to see what they had, I'd be able to loot appear in there. So I do that, and then I'll attack this blood brood hatching even. Maybe blood hatching might have made a bit more sense. Here's another brood hatchling. Now, at least Spider-Bane is really going to help Arcot as the story progresses. Wait, what's this called then? A brood ambusher. Is really going to help Arcot as the story progresses. And doing these quests for him just show him that we will support him as much as he's going to support us in the near future. So now I've leveled up to level 6, I can do something called outfits. At the moment I'm just doing gameplay, but I'm going to do some sort of tutorial style videos soon. I'll show you how to craft once you get to the certain level, how to purchase a mount, how to use a mount, how to for example, outfits, cosmetic outfits, the lot, festivals, how to use festival tokens, how to barter items, when you get to level 20, how to skirmish, and so on and so forth. Now, this is slightly tutorial style, I suppose, this part, because a lot of people get very confused about what to do with this bit, if dependent on whether the wall is still intact, and they go around looking and don't realise that you really need to right click on this dead Blackwall scout. As you can see by here is the wall into Arcot. So the Brigand Scout met his doom at the dead end of the Old East Path. So I need to return to John Brackenbrook with the hopeful news, as we believe that Blackwall was going to attack Arcot himself, maybe releasing prisoners, who knows. So I need to return to the hunting lodge to tell John Brackenbrook this good news. Now, I think this server is called Dwarrodelf, so you could be able to, if you're on that server, you can add him. There are a lot of people on this server, considering the server I play on with my main characters, to put it, my champion, Imladris, barely has anyone on it, especially in the beginner's instance. which only people on the beginner's part, as to put it, can do. Now I know it may look like I just had like some graphics glitch. It's the software. It completely messes up my Lotro, and then because right now as I play, my game is actually lagging, and then I watch it back and it's not lagging, and then I turn off the software recording and it's not lagging, but then the graphics glitches like that one just then with the cliff show up, and I've got some stuff I can loot. So if I loot all that, I speak to John Brackenbrook. Slender Hope.
A dead end will surely work in our favor.
I'm going to choose the olive dyes. Alright, I'm going to accept this. Now before I do that, I'm just going to show you how to use dyes, simply because I know for a fact the storm is upon us, takes us to an instance. So I'm just going to show you how to. Now, what you do, if I'm correct, is you right click the dye. You right click the dye, and then you look at what you want to dye. So for example, I want to dye my chest piece, so I left click the chest piece, I click yes, and as you can see it says it's dyeing, and my chest piece will go from a purplish colour to the olive colour. So then I right click, and I want to dye the leather trousers. Now the annoying thing about dyes is that you end up using them all on things and then you sell them. But it doesn't really bother me at this point. I just want to show you how to use dyes. So now I'm dyeing my cloak. As I said, from this point on, I'm not going to skip any of the beginners thing, even though it's just about to finish. I doubt I'll be skipping any of the stuff when I'm in the world with other players. And now if I go intro, the storm is upon us. Are you ready to go? Very well. Now here's just a quick warning, as it states here. This quest is the final in the introduction, which is what I've been referring to as the beginners area. So basically, if you have any mini quests left over from the beginners area, make sure you either delete them or finish them before you click travel now, or you'll lose them, as when you finish this instance, you join the world with every other player on the server. So by clicking travel now, it loads up Arca, and as you can see, this picture doesn't look particularly not helpful necessarily, particularly hopeful for Arcot's impending doom from the Black Wolves.
Hunters have reached the outskirts of Archet to find it already ablaze. A desperate struggle to save their village is about to begin. Hopefully, you have arrived in time.
Now, that isn't the only fire, by the way. You can see the whole thing is on fire. Now, there are very many different ways of pronouncing Arca. I pronounce it Arca, obviously, but that narrator, who I believe to be Gandalf, pronounced it Archit. Now if I talk to John Brackenbrook, we must charge into Arca with him, where we can find Otto the Brigand, someone we met earlier, and some other people attacking Ned the prison guard. So I kill this guy, because Ned was a nice dude. And that's Ned's wife through those bars, if you look. Come here, you scumbag. Die. Right, if I speak to Nad now, spoiler alert. Right, now I need to speak to John.
Our chat must still be saved.
Alright, Carl the Cobbs and Otto's treachery. Just the beginning of this battle life here. So we've got to go to the Mad Badger, where Peg has left us away to the marketplace. Perhaps there's, maybe there's a way through there. So now we need to follow John again. Of course, it is quite distressing to see. Quite sad to see Ned die, especially quite distressing to see. Let's kill these scumbags. Come on, come here. Right, so I believe this is a healing ability. Just many of... You're not necessarily a specific healer as the captain, but you get sort of DPS and healing abilities, thus making you a support character. Now we'll do the whole of this instance.
All must not be lost. Well met, friend. Is the crafting hall safe?
And then I'll show you some essential things afterwards, and then that'll be it for this episode. If you're watching this, thanks. But the crafters area has burst into flames, and these scumbags, these pigs, are responsible for it. So we're going to need to kill them to avenge Ned. That's right. Right now we must talk to John Brackenbrook. We're going to fight alongside him and Artley Spider-Bane, who we met earlier, as you know, as we travel into the centre of the town, as to put it. Here's Captain Brackenbrook, father of John Brackenbrook. That is Amdir, who we met in the prologue, and also Mundo and Salandine, who we met in the prologue. There's not much detail on Amdir's face. Read the dialogue, by the way. It's really essential to understand this story.
They approach! Defend us!
And this man survived running through the fire. But maybe there's something about the Black Walls we didn't know. Oh, there it is. And here comes Caldecott with two Nazgul, Cargill even, not Nazgul, sorry. As Nazgul would have not really been able to have come here due to the fire. Caldecott. Turn around so you can see the dialogue. Now remember, Caldecott's the person that around level 2-3 betrayed me and attempted to kill me. Perhaps I ought to have made a video of that, but I didn't, because I didn't really think it was worth putting a video of some guy who's not very good. And as you can now see, Andy has become, not obsessed, possessed since what has happened. And now he's going to walk through the fire, and he will now go join Sauron's forces. And this bit is now quite emotional as Captain Brackenbrook collapses to the ground and dies. And now we've got to go kill this other scumbag. A lot of scumbags in this instance. Come here, you. Come here, you punk. Says him right.
What misery has befallen us? My father was right to trust no one.
Now, as much as I like John, that bit doesn't make sense, because Captain Brackenbrook trusted Caldecott so much that he refused to believe me. And now he's dead. So here's a cinematic for you.
With the Black Wolves' attack foiled, the people of Archet have begun to rebuild. Yet not all hurts are so easily mended. The fate of the Ranger Amdir remains uncertain and may have dire consequences for Breland. But hope remains that he may yet be safe.
Of course, the prologue for Man and Hobbit, which we just finished, is quite emotional, whereas Elves and Dwarves really doesn't hold much emotional value. So now we've got to talk to John, and I'll just give you a quick outlook as to what Archet looks like to other players. It looks absolutely dreadful. It's completely ruined, essentially. So now we finish the intro with these 3 rewards. And with John, you can now start
Might I take a moment of your time?
the prologue. And this is where the story really begins. And if you speak to this man, you can accept a quest called Disease Among the Boars, which I recommend doing because you get a good weapon that will support you as things go on. Now before I read my mail or check what those items are, I'm going to sell the items I do not require. And now I'm going to head over. Oh, I'm going to go speak to Artley, I think it is, yes. He has a very good quest here for you.
Might you lend me an ear?
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different quest. You can't get a very good... Oh, here's Carl Sprugly.
What do you need?
And now if I head over to this mailbox, we can collect some pretty snazzy stuff. The mailbox, you can send letters to other people if you're a member. You can attach items, money, what have you. And Greetings, I have written a letter on your behalf. Others in Arcot collected what they could to give to you and made a nice present of it. Make certain to get the letter, read it, and then take it to Constable Thistlewood in Arcot or Postman Newbuck in Little Delving. Little Delving is where you go to rather than come back to Arcot. Hobbits get sent to Little Delving. They remain in the hearts of the people of Arcot. Respectfully, John Brackenbrook. So click the detach item, and you get this sort of present style looking thing. Now, if you right click that, you get a reward. You get some healing, you get more die, which I'll use now. You get this letter of commendation, which by right clicking you get the quest, which will get you tokens of salutation. You get this letter, which gives you the quest outfitting yourself and others. That's an introduction to crafting. This is all big stuff we get to do further on as things progress. That's the letter of commendation. Another present, right clicking on that, gives us this whistle, which once I use, well, no, it expires in 23 hours, so I'll make another episode in the space of 23 hours. It may not necessarily go up within 23 hours of this episode being released, but I'll definitely make an episode. That, basically, by whistling that, I get not the best, but a good enough horse that I can ride around on, because I've got to travel from Arcot to Breland to Combe and whatnot. This now gives me a boost. I'll just use that. Gives me 90 minutes to run faster, some food, and now I can't unlock this till 7. But these last you forever. My level 30 champion, he's just received a reward, and he next needs to right click the present at level 35. So these are rewards that will essentially last forever. This I really recommend holding on to. It's called the Rice Special Passage, and it lasts for 1 hour. They cost quite a bit on the Turbine store, but the importance of them is that if you're not a member and you want mini quests, but you can't afford to buy the quest packs with Turbine points, and you don't want to spend money on Turbine points, I believe if you use the Writer's Special Passage, you can use the mini quest there. Oh no. This will just allow you to travel anywhere, which is also quite important, because taxi horses, no matter how fast your horse, run so much faster, and they'll take you pretty far, which, for example, I was in Breetown and I wanted to get to the Shire, but I hadn't unlocked the Shire destination from Breetown. By using the Right to Special Passage, Right to Special Passage, is it? Yes, I can go straight to the Shire as I please. So, this has been the longest video I think I've ever made. Thank you for watching. Keep watching the series. I will make a video with the horse on. We'll do some awesome quests. We'll get this guy to endgame. And though we've only gained 1 level in this episode, we've got some pretty awesome content. So I hope to be seeing you very soon. See ya. Bye.